So I just want to do a quick introduction. My name is Jessica. I am 23. I was born and raised in Portland, and I have been a nurse at a hospital in Southern Oregon for almost 2 years. And I just kind of wanted to talk about everything that is going on with me right now and keep everyone updated on my life. This is where I'm going to be talking about my journey and what's happening with me. So it's been a whirlwind of a couple days, and I know it's not over. But I just kind of wanted to talk about the last couple weeks and what led up to where I'm at now. So they found a mass in my chest, and I kind of just wanted to talk about the symptoms I was having, and then how it was discovered, and then I will just be using YouTube and blogging as a way to talk about everything that's happening with me. So it all started a couple weeks ago, around April 1st. I worked April 1st and April 2nd, day shift. I was feeling just kind of generally like achy, didn't really feel well. So I took some Tylenol, that pretty much took care of it. I just felt tired. Didn't think it was that big of a deal. 12, 13-hour shifts are exhausting. So then Wednesday, I really just felt worn down, and I canceled plans with some friends that night. And then I got a low-grade fever of about 100. And I was just really uncomfortable, and so I called into work for Thursday and figured I'll just sleep it off. I'll feel better after just a good night of sleep. So then I woke up Thursday morning, and I had no intention of going and seeing a doctor. I knew it was probably just viral, and I didn't need them to tell me that. And so I went to the bathroom that morning, and my urine was super cloudy, like just this like amber reddish, and I couldn't see the bottom of the toilet. It was so cloudy, and so that was pretty alarming that I was having like full body effects, and then that my pee was that color, so I knew something was going on. So I go to the clinic. They have just kind of like walk-in appointments. I see a nurse practitioner. They do, I don't know if they did a urinalysis or just did my urine there in the clinic, but they said my urine looked fine, but they did note that my heart rate was 145, and normal range is 60 to 100 for adults, and then mine is typically about 75. So he asked me, does your heart usually race like this? And I said, no, this is very abnormal for me. So he listened to my lungs, took vitals, and just kind of gave me some reassurance that it was probably viral. Gave me a work note, and then told me to call him if I wasn't feeling better. So then over the weekend, I spent some time with my boyfriend before he left for a work assignment. And I was still feeling like pretty run down, but I felt better. Like the body aches had kind of gone away, but just a general feeling of like I don't feel 100%. I tried to go out with my friends Saturday night. I ended up not drinking just because I felt kind of dizzy, and just again I didn't feel 100. So then I went into a work stretch of 3 night shifts, so 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. So we're now about a week out from my initial clinical visit. So I worked Sunday night. There was a labor and delivery. I, at one point, and this has happened to me before, so it wasn't a red flag, but at one point while the mom was laboring, I just about passed out. So just kind of like, couldn't hear. Vision was like tunnel, like really close to passing out. So I kind of like stumbled out of the room, sat at the nurse's station, ate some candy, drank some water, and just kind of powered through my night. It was a super busy night. In the meantime, I'm not feeling well. I'm working night shift. I'm already trying to lose weight the last couple months, so I ended up not eating during this stretch of 3 nights. You know, I maybe had a couple snacks, but I definitely ate way less than I normally do. And I was losing almost like a pound a day just from like not really having an appetite. Anyway, so I get through that super busy Sunday night shift, go home Monday. I sleep amazing. Like, I slept so hard, didn't wake up once. Go to night shift Monday night. It was pretty unremarkable, normal. Went home after Monday night shift on Tuesday morning, and I just felt really weird. Like, I can't describe it. Like, I just felt so anxious. Like, I could just feel my heart pounding really fast, and just I couldn't sleep. Typically, when I crawl in bed after a night shift, I am out within 15 minutes. But I laid there from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. just like, why can't I sleep? And I was just like anxious. Like, it felt like I was having a panic attack. And maybe I was, but I just didn't feel right. And I felt feverish again. Didn't even take my temperature because I knew it would freak me out. I eventually fell asleep and just had a really terrible day of sleep. Like, I woke up every hour. And so when I finally did get up, I could still feel my heart racing, and I thought that was strange because I figured if I did just go to sleep, get that rest, then my heart would kind of, compensate and relax. So when I got up that day around 2 or 3 p.m. for my work day, I took my heart rate and it was 135. Which is totally not normal to be sleeping and wake up and have your heart rate 135. So I did some breathing exercises for anxiety. I stretched, I prayed, and I was able to bring it down to 95 if I was sitting on the couch doing nothing, which is still really high for me. So I could tell something wasn't quite right, but again, like, I know stress and anxiety do really crazy things to your body, so I was trying not to freak out at this point. So I go do my last, well, it wasn't my last night shift of the week, but of my stretch. So I go to work Tuesday night. I have my watch on, which monitors my heart rate. So I have that on, and I'm kind of watching it all night. And the worst part of the heart racing was I could feel it in my whole body that it was pounding. And so it was more of an annoyance than anything. So I wore that, monitored it, and even when I was just sitting talking to my coworkers completely relaxed, it would still be around 105, which is high. So I was getting pretty worried at this point. So I go home, I think I took a muscle relaxer I took a muscle relaxer when I got off work that day. I have them for migraines from the past, but, so I took a muscle relaxer and I slept pretty solid. Like, I slept from like 7 a.m. to 3 p.m., which is, that's a normal day of sleep for me after a night shift. And I thought, okay, like, finally, just a good day of sleep. I don't have to work tonight. I can chill all day. I don't have to worry about anything. And when I woke up, I checked my heart rate and it was still high. And maybe it wasn't that high. Maybe it was like 90, which is still high for me. But even just getting up, walking 20 feet to the bathroom would like shoot it up to 125. So it was still abnormal. So I kind of just hang out all day. I'm supposed to have my mom and friend coming into town the next day. And so I'm like, I just worked 3 days. Like, my house is a wreck. I need to make beds, wash dishes, but I just have like no energy. So I kind of did like one thing at a time. Like, I would go like make a bed, sit down on the couch for a while, recover, fold some laundry, recover, wash some dishes, recover. And it started just getting really scary. Like, what if something really bad is wrong? I didn't want to be that person or that nurse that freaks out because we know all the possibilities, and so we go into ER for every little thing. But I texted my friend who was at work, Maria, and I asked her who the ER nurse was, and the ER nurse, Marge, gave me a call. And I told her about my symptoms and any medical history I have, which is 0. And she said, why don't you just go ahead and come in? Like, I would feel better if we just kind of like checked you out. So that's what they did. I went into the ER. They got vitals. They did an EKG. The doctor came in, said, you know, your EKG looks fast. You know, obviously it's fast. My heart was still beating, you know, 125 at this point. But as far as the electrical currents, it looks normal. And so he was going to order just a couple liters of fluids and say, you know, it's probably dehydration, you're good. But I said, I really think we should at least just draw some labs and see if there's something else going on. Anemia, rhabdomyolysis, like, I don't know. You know, we were kind of just like pulling at strings here. Anyway, so he tests my thyroid. He does a complete blood count, checks my electrolytes, and everything is relatively normal, except it did show that I had fluid volume deficit, so I was dehydrated. So he gave me the 2 liters, which my heart rate never really came down significantly. It maybe came down to my new relaxed of like 100, but it never went back to my normal of 75, 70, somewhere in there. So he sent me home with the instruction to come back Friday, 2 days later, if it wasn't resolved. You know, he said it'll take a few days for these fluids to really get into your system and circulate, but if you're still having these symptoms, you know, either go to the clinic or come back to ER. So I was supposed to work Thursday night, and I called in sick at that point and said, I'm not working Thursday night. There's no way that night shift makes this any better. So I called in sick to that. My mom and friend got there the next day. I told them, you know, I'm not going to be able to do much. If I exert myself at all, I get pretty exhausted. And they said, that's fine. So then we made a plan that we would go to the walk-in clinic first thing Friday morning because, you know, my heart was still racing. And, you know, we went to bed. I took a muscle relaxant just so I was able to sleep and not think about my heart pounding. But Friday morning at 5 a.m. I woke up and my heart was pounding and I felt like I couldn't catch my breath. So I tried to relax and, you know, nothing was really helping. I was texting my boyfriend, you know, just like the symptoms I was having and just, I don't know what to do. Like, I just feel like I'm at a loss. Are they even going to do anything new in ER? Am I being dramatic? But he told me, like, please go. Your symptoms are getting worse. Like, you need to go to the ER. So I go and wake my mom up and we go to the ER. So Friday morning, we go to the ER, and of course I just feel like, I mean, my heart rate when I took it was 155, so I knew something was wrong, but at the same time, I just felt so silly for going to the ER because we have people that come in all the time for, you know, anxiety attacks, and they come in, we get them calmed down, and everything's fine, and so I just, like, did not want to be that guy, but, you know, this was the first time that I was having shortness of breath, so I knew it was probably emergent. So I go to ER. Luckily, I had a nurse and coworker as my nurse, and that I felt really comfortable with. And then it was the same doctor, which I actually thought it was going to be a different doctor, one of our permanent doctors rather than a traveling doctor. In the end, I'm thankful it was still the same doctor and a traveling doctor because he knows what had been done and what he had already looked for. And he knew he needed to dig deeper on that day, which he did. So